Okay, I'm not one to highlight an issue without offering a solution. All right? Okay? I don't trust the banks or the self-serving agents or the Australian Federal Parliament to craft a meaningful solution that serves a good public purpose. If one needs an example of systemic placation, go no further than the bank-approved Claytons Royal Commission that investigated 27 case studies from over 10,000 submissions. 5 years later, nothing meaningful has changed. It could be argued that things have got worse. For example, the AFCA CEO warned recently, and I quote, "The volume of complaints have escalated to AFCA, has been increasing at an unsustainable rate." I've provided the meeting with a one-page description of a proposed financial services law force. I'm assuming that your underlings, or I address Matt directly, so he's got a copy. An SFLF would shorten the legal process, make it more efficient, rein in the excessive fees of greedy big law firms like Claytons. A truly independent SFLF would, with appropriate leadership, critical. You don't want a longer, a lock or a low, would keep the banks, the legal profession, the Parliament and the regulators honest, fit for purpose and so much more. Would the CBA support a truly independent financial services law force? If not, why not?
Thank you, Mr. Sanderson. There are substantial regulatory and compliance requirements that CBA and many banks, all banks have to follow, and financial services, including AFCA, the Australian Financial Complaints Authority, APRA, the Prudential Supervisor, the ASIC, the Conduct Regulator, ACCC, the Markets and Competition Regulator. There are an incredible number of frameworks with which we all have to comply. We take our roles in complying with those incredibly seriously. In one comment you made, talked about AFCA's increase in complaints. That is in relation to increased scams, which are a blight on Australia in many respects. I would note that CBA has reduced by half the number of losses customers have had to scams in the last 12 months. That is an incredible focus by us. I will get Matt to elaborate, though, on one comment, AI to AI, in terms of scams, a question that you've raised. It's a question that's been raised by others before the meeting as well. But I think we should give some comfort the focus that we're putting on cybersecurity and our anti-scams activities, because they go to the core of creating trust with customers. So I'll get Matt to comment on that.
You've completely sidestepped the issue about the SFLF's Financial Services Law Force. You know, this is
I think we won't be supporting that request that you've made. We will be complying with all of the regulations and all of the principles to which we'd adhered. So I thought I did answer that question. I'll be more clear, and that is the answer to the question.
Well, it's just that ASIC has been found to be not fit for purpose by a recent Senate committee.
Thank you, Mr. Sanderson. I'll get Matt to make the comment, and then feel free to come back to the podium in due course.
Okay, thank you.
If I may, Mr. Sanderson, perhaps on 3 points. One, I think where Paul was indicating is there are extensive legal obligations on financial institutions that cover a very broad range of activities. Our starting position would absolutely be that the law is extensive and comprehensive. It's not obvious to us that there would be a gap. I mean, secondly, before I go to AI, and I'm obviously, as you know, very well versed with the example that you're speaking of. It has been extensively considered over a long period of time. And without wanting to go into any of the specifics, obviously, of that matter, we have extensively reviewed some of those historical matters, have sought, I think, a very, very fair-minded approach to seek resolution. There are a very small number that we've been unable to resolve. One of the difficulties of being a financial institution everywhere in the world is that one of our roles is to provide credit. We provide that credit and we have obligations in how we do that, which we must comply with. there are also obligations on the customer to repay that loan. Now, there's a variety of different circumstances that can lead to the inability to repay that loan. But it's the nature of the banking business model that we have to take steps for the repayment of all loans across all of our customers. And I'm sure we'll be back and forth on this topic, but I think we're on firm ground in the particular case that you're referring to. As the Chair indicated, we're very confident about our adherence to the model litigant principles. And then perhaps thirdly, just as it relates to AI, broadly what you were mentioning, I would agree with insofar as any new technology, as it becomes available, it's important for an institution such as the Commonwealth Bank to understand it, to use it, and also to help protect our customers. So we're investing in AI and a number of other technologies, as much as Paul said, to improve the customer experience, but also to make sure that we can protect our customers, protect the institution from what inevitably will be an increasing sophistication of attacks, whether that be in cyber or in scams. And so this is a very significant priority for us, and we firmly believe it should remain so.
Thank you, Matt.